store windows are watching something old and something new. There's something old, the World Series. And there's something new, an American phenom called television. The very first World Series game ever televised. Lucky ones were there in person. But most people then as now relied on cameras. There were newsreel cameras, still cameras, and a brand new one, the television camera. 1947, the first televised game. At the Yankee Stadium that day, a very special fan. They called the ballpark the house that Ruth built. Babe was there to see his last World Series. The television cameras brought the game to comparatively few people then, but it was really the start of something big. Something big being NBC's 25th World Series telecast, which will be coming your way very shortly from right here. Hi, I'm Joe Garagiola with Sandy Koufax. We came out to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium pretty early to beat the traffic and to visit the managers. But first, Sandy, I have to ask you, in 1947, what were you doing? Watching television?
Well, Joe, I think in 1947 I was 12 years old, so I was probably either in school or should have been.
Man, that hurts a little bit. In 1946, I had played in the World Series. It wasn't televised. In 1947, I was reading my favorite quote of all ball players, the one that says, the World Series is just another game. Do you believe that?
Well, I think you probably put that with the other famous quote the no-hit pitcher gives you. I didn't know I had it.
Didn't know he had it.
Yeah.
Except he's watching the scoreboard all the time.
Right.
It is a special kind of feeling, the World Series, Sandy.
I think so, Joe. I think it's special to the fans. I think it's special to the players, too.
And it's special for the managers, and we're going to be talking to the two special managers who'll be in this World Series, Earl Weaver and Danny Murtaugh.
World Series Report 71 with Joe Garagiola and Sandy Koufax. Brought to you by Texaco and the many thousands of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. Trust Texaco to have the right gasoline for you.
I'm in the Baltimore dugout with manager Earl Weaver, and this is going to be a busy place in just a couple of minutes. The Baltimore Orioles against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they had to beat Vita Blue, Baltimore did. Vita Blue and the Oakland Athletics, and here's a big base hit off Vita Blue that tied the game. And from that point on, Baltimore was never behind. They got here with superstars and a team effort, as all World Series participants get into a World Series. Team effort. I want Earl Weaver to tell me about this great ball club they put together here. Earl, the first guy that we see is Brooks Robinson.
We call him Mr. Clutch, Joe. He seems to be able to rise to any occasion, both offensively and defensively, as you've seen last year in the World Series. That's Boog Powell, who got off to a slow start at the start of the season, but came on strong after his wrist mended, carried us in September, and was outstanding during the playoffs.
Is he okay now?
He's okay. It'll be a day-to-day basis. Dave Johnson, one of the most underrated ball players on our ball club, an all-star second baseman for 4 years, has helped us offensively and defensively just like everyone else has. Here's been our most consistent hitter for the year, Merv Rettenman. In fact, he led our club last year and this year. He sprays the ball to all parts of the ballpark and can hit with power at times. Here you'll see probably the best defensive shortstop in baseball today. I compare him with Marty Marion of years back, Mark Belanger. And here's our old pro who always can rise to the occasion also. This base hit, after not getting a hit through the first 2 games, wound up being the winning run Frank drove in, and then scored an insurance run a little bit later.
Big Boog scoring. Earl, in 69, when you lost to the Mets, they talked about you being overconfident at your ball club. Now everybody talks about how confident you are against Pittsburgh. Where is the fine line that a manager has to draw?
I think it's pitching. In 69, I think it was the Mets pitching, and this year I hope it's going to be ours.
Is there, you're talking about pitching, do you have your set rotation?
Yeah, we've got McNally going the first game, Palmer the second, Cuellar the third, and either McNally coming back or Dobson going the fourth, depending on what happens.
It seems like left-hander, right-hander, left-hander, right-hander. Is that a pattern?
Well, we keep them from getting in there 2 days out on us.
Is there anybody on that Pittsburgh club that you'll try to pitch around? Usually there is.
Well, I think the left-handers will go after Stargell and pitch around Clemente, and the right-handers vice versa.
Earl, good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Earl Weaver of the Baltimore Orioles, and Sandy Koufax will be visiting with Danny Murtaugh in just a few seconds.
Danny Murtaugh, just to make you a little bit more comfortable, and make you feel at home, we've gotten you a rocking chair. And I think possibly to make you feel a little comfortable at home, I'd like to take a look at some of the players who won the pennant and made it possible for you to get here.
Well, Sandy, right there hitting now is Big Will. We wouldn't have been here without Willie. He carried us for 3/4 of the season, and I have never seen one power hitter keeping a streak so long. And I think we just showed a photo there of Big Bob Robinson, our first baseman. Marichal tried to throw a fastball, and he got a little bit up and outside, and he hit it to center field, and he really hit it a mile. He's a lot of power. And this is our boy that got hot in the world into our playoff series. I'm talking about Richie Hebner. He hit 2 balls over the fence in the series, and both of them were on bad balls. So I think he left the doubt to the Giants' mind is just about where to pitch this fella. And here, to me, is the greatest player I've ever seen, Roberto Clemente. I know a lot of people question his power, but I've always said that he not only knocks in all the important runs for us, but he sets up a lot of runs for the hitters in back of him. So therefore, his value to our ball club is doing the RBIs for the good hits and also setting up the runs. This is Dave Justy, our best relief pitcher. For 2 years, I think he's been the outstanding pitcher in the National League. And you see him right here getting a ground ball to Hebner for the 3rd out and clinching the series for us and putting us in the playoffs.
Well, Danny, those are happy days. You're starting all even again now. It's the World Series. Some people have questioned your pitching. I think it's going to be up to the pitching staff. Last year in this World Series, Cincinnati scored runs against Baltimore. They didn't hold Baltimore. What about your pitching staff? What's the pitching rotation going to be?
Well, Sandy, ever since the first day of spring training, everybody has told me my pitching hasn't been strong enough. And here it is. We're in the October Classic. I would say that my pitching has been good enough. In other words, I have a pitching staff that the other team has scored 4 or 5. We've scored 6. And if we had to win a 1-run ball game, we won a 1-run ball game. Now, I'm going with Dock Ellis today. I'm going with Bob Johnson tomorrow. And for the opener in Pittsburgh, I'm throwing Steve Blass. There are 3 of my best pitchers, and I'm quite sure they'll give a good account of themselves.
Danny, you platooned most of the year. Hebner was a big man for you. So was Al Oliver in the playoffs. With a left-hander going today, are you going to maybe stick with them, or are you going to go to the platoon?
Well, Sandy, I really haven't quite made my lineup out as yet. I'll go back in my office after we get through talking, and I'll do a little bit of thinking. And then when we come out on the field for the first time, I'll announce my starting lineup then.
Okay, well, I'll take a look then, Danny. I won't ask you anymore. Dan, thank you very much, and good luck to you.
Well, thank you, Sandy, and I'm sincere in saying that they're going to see a pretty good series out there.
Unless that becomes a used car, Sandy, that's the cart that the Baltimore relief pitchers will be brought in. This could be a Baltimore series. How about the bullpens?
I think, Joe, that would be the big question. Both ball clubs are capable of scoring runs. They talk about the Pirates' power, but I think Baltimore has good power, too. And I think it's going to be up to the Pittsburgh team to control Baltimore power.
I know we talked about this before, and most ball players who watch the series root for fellas not to have that one play that'll make them the so-called GOAT. I hate that expression to begin with. You want to pick a hero?
Well, I think Danny Murtaugh has been platooning all year. That's what got him here, and I know Danny will probably do that again today, so he'll go with his right-hand lineup. I like Gene Klein's in center field. He's got great speed. He's probably the fastest man in the National League now, and I think if he gets a chance to run and steal a couple of bases, I think he could be a deciding factor in the ball game.
Klein's.
Right.
I picked Retterman of the Baltimore Orioles to be a big man for the Orioles because he seems to hit the ball all over like you need a 6-2-2-1 defense against him.
Well, he'll make it a little tough out in right field, but you've got probably the best right fielder in baseball out there in Clemente, so, well, you can only hope.
Clemente was a tough guy to pitch to, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Danny was talking about his power, that people suspect his power. Well, I think if you played in that old Pittsburgh ballpark, as you well know, there are not too many right-hand hitters going to hit the home run.
No, that's a two-base hit in a triples ballpark. Sandy, do you think that it'll be Baltimore's pitching against Pittsburgh's power?
No, I think it's probably going to be Pittsburgh's pitching against Baltimore's power. I think Pittsburgh must contain the Orioles.
So we completely disagree, and I guess we'll go like Bob Veal and say that good pitching stops good hitting, or vice versa. But let's just sit back and watch another ball game.
Just another game.
Just another game.
World Series Report 71 has been brought to you by Texaco. and the many thousands of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. And now stay tuned following station identification for game number 1 of the 1971 World Series.
Belonged to one man, Brooks Robinson. No player has ever had a more dazzling series both in the field and at bat. Robinson and his Baltimore teammates defeated Cincinnati 4 out of 5 in 1970 as they atoned for the loss to the New York Mets in 1969. And now it's World Series time again, and the Orioles must defend their World Championship against the hard-hitting Pittsburgh Pirates. The drama begins today in Baltimore, Maryland, as NBC Sports, a service of NBC News, presents Game 1 of the 1971 World Series. The National League champions, the Pittsburgh Pirates, versus the American League champions, the Baltimore Orioles. Brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, Extra Care in Engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. By the two-bladed razor, the new Gillette Track 2 twin-blade cartridge shaving system. And by Phillips 66, the performance company. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. Hi, everybody. This is Curt Gowdy of NBC Sports. Chuck Thompson, the broadcaster of the Baltimore Orioles, and down around the dugouts in the stands of NBC will be Tony Kubek. The temperature, mid-60s today. Overcast, the sun trying to fight through. A 20% chance of rain today, 80% chance of rain tomorrow for Game 2. The Orioles have been established a 2-to-1 favorite to win this World Series. And why not? They've got impressive credentials. 4 20-game winners. They won 100 games again during the season. It's a beautifully balanced baseball machine with hitting, power, defense, pitching, age, and youth. And yet we think the one key to this World Series is going to be the pitching of the Pittsburgh Pirates. We have a hunch the pitching is better for the Pirates than people expect. And if it is, you're going to have an exciting World Series because the Pirates can challenge any pitching staff with the hard-hitting ball club they have from top down to bottom. Now to get the starting pitchers on the line here for you. First of all, Dock Ellis is going to be starting it off for the Pirates. He was their top winner this year. He won 19 games. He's a question mark, though, with a sore elbow that plagued him in the last few weeks of the season. The top winner of the Baltimore staff goes today. He's a left-hander, Dave McNally, who won 21 games. And he also had elbow problem. He missed a month of the season during July. So it's McNally, a left-hander, against Ellis, a right-hander. And I think with that left-handed starter going for Baltimore, Chuck Thompson has some slants of his own to pass along to you. Chuck?
Well, thank you very much, Curt. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's a little significant that Baltimore starts a left-handed pitcher against the Pirates, who just really tore up left-handed pitching. They won 39 times against left-handers and lost only 19. Now, why would Baltimore do it? Well, obviously, 1 point. They feel quite certainly that Cuellar and McNally are perhaps a cut above some of the left-handers in the National League the Pirates are swinging at. But almost as important, maybe more important, is the fact that the big bats of Al Oliver and Rich Hefner will be on the sidelines. That will take away from the Pirates' attack 31 home runs and 131 runs batted in. It replaces those figures with 6 home runs and 39 runs batted in off the bats of Gene Kleins and Jose Pagan. The Orioles, a very hot ball club, finished this year the way they did a year ago. They have now won 14 straight ball games. And let's take a look now at the home park of the world champion Baltimore Orioles here, Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. It is a good baseball park. It favors neither the hitter nor the pitcher. And we'll take a look down the left field line. It is 309 feet into the corner. That yellow stripe that you see, well, anything to the left side of it is in play. If it hits on the yellow stripe or to the center field side of it, it is a home run. The power alleys, 380 feet down into right center, and 390 rather in right center and left center. It is 410 feet straight away into center field, and the very same dimensions carry through into the right field corner of the home park of the Baltimore Orioles. And now, with pleasure, let's go downstairs to Tony Kubek.
You know, if you look to what the odds makers are saying, and of course the members of the press and most other people, they say the Pittsburgh Pirates don't even belong in the same ballpark with these Baltimore Orioles. But remember this. during those championship series with the San Francisco Giants, they beat a pitcher one of the best in baseball. They beat him with good defense and a couple of home runs, 2-1. When they had to score runs, they did score them off Gaylord Perry in that final game of the playoff series. The Pittsburgh Pirates have a team that is difficult to pitch to, as Curt Gowdy and, of course, Chuck Thompson have told you. Roberto Clemente and, of course, Manny Sanguillen. Where do you pitch them? Where do you play them? Should Willie Stargell get hot? Well, the Orioles are going to have to score an awful lot of runs in this World Series. My personal prediction, and maybe I'm looking back to history, the 1960 World Series, which our Yankees were a part of, I think it's going to be Pittsburgh in 7 games. Let's go back upstairs.
Brave prediction there, Mr. Kubek, and we'll see how it all comes out. We have 54,000, a complete sellout here today in Memorial Stadium. And now we're going to meet the lineup of the Pirates and the Orioles.
1971 World Series. Here are the official lineups. First, the National League champion Pittsburgh Pirates. Here is the manager of the Pirates, number 40, Danny Murtaugh. Batting first, playing second base, number 30, Dave Cash. Batting second, playing center field, number 15, Gene Clines. Batting third, playing right field, number 21, Roberto Clemente. Batting fourth and playing left field, number 8, Willie Stargell. Batting fifth and playing first base, number 7, Bob Robertson. Batting sixth, catching for Pittsburgh, number 35, Manny Sanguillen. Batting seventh, playing third base, number 11, Jose Pagan. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 2, Jack Hernandez. Batting ninth and pitching for the Pirates this afternoon, number 17, Dock Ellis, who is warming up on the sidelines. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gene Alley, Steve Blass, Nelson Briles, Vic Davalio, Dave Justy, Richie Hebner, Bob Johnson, Bruce Keeson, Milt May, Bill Mazeroski, Bob Miller, Bob Moose, Al Oliver, Charlie Sands, Bob Veal, Luke Walker, and the coaches, Don Leppert, Frank Osiak, Don Osborne, Dave Ricketts, and Bill Virton. Now for the American League champion, Baltimore Orioles. Here is the manager of Baltimore, number 4, Earl Weaver. Batting first, playing left field, number 9, Don Buford. Batting second, playing center field, number 14, Merv Retmond. Batting third, playing first base, number 26, Boog Powell. Batting fourth, playing right field, number 20, Frank Robinson. Batting fifth, catching for Baltimore, number 10, Elrod Hendricks. Batting sixth and playing third base, number 5, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh, playing second base, number 15, Dave Johnson. Batting 8th, the shortstop, number 7, Mark Bellinger. Batting 9th and pitching for the Orioles this afternoon, number 19, Dave McNally, who is warming up on the sidelines. And here are the remaining players and coaches of the Baltimore Orioles. Paul Blair, Mike Cuellar, Clay Dalrymple, Jerry DeBannon, Pat Thompson, Tom Dukes, Andy Etchebarren, Dick Hall, Grant Jackson, Dave Leonard, Kurt Moten, Jim Palmer, Pete Rickert, Chico Salmon, Tom Chauffet, Eddie Watt, and the coaches Jim Fry, Billy Hunter, and George Stoller. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, which will be sung by the chorus of the Chesapeake.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the rampart we won were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of us bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We're going to have the ceremonial first pitch now that will open the 1971 World Series. Cameramen and our cameras of NBC focused on the commissioner's box where the commissioner of baseball, Bowie K. Kuhn, will throw out the first pitch. And to his right is Mrs. Kuhn.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Also in the box, as the guest of the commissioner today, is the Postmaster General Winton Blunt. There's Joe Cronin, shaking hands with Ellie Hendricks. He's the president of the American League. So the third base side today is the American League side, and the first base side, the visitors, the Pirates, and the National League side. There it is to Ellie Hendricks. One more. So there it is, and Game 1 of the 1971 World Series is being brought to you from Baltimore as the Orioles meet the Pirates. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. All right, Curt Gowdy back with you, along with Chuck Thompson and Tony Kubek at first base for the Orioles. Boog Powell playing second base, Dave Johnson. This is a marvelous infield they have. Mark Belanger is the shortstop. And over at third, Brooks Robinson. The left fielder will be Don Buford. Bit of a surprise in center field today. Merv Retman is starting in place of Paul Blair. The Orioles want a little more punch in their lineup. And in right field, Frank Robinson. Behind the plate will be Ellie Hendricks and Dave McNally will be pitching for Baltimore. We have 6 umpires today. Nestor Shylock behind the plate. Ed Sudol at first. John Rice working at second. Ed Bargo at third. James Odom down the left field line. And John Kibler will be working the right field line. Dave McNally from the Big Sky country of Montana now lives in Lutherville, Maryland, a Baltimore suburb. 5'11", 190, 28 years old, has been compared many times to Whitey Ford when he used to work so brilliantly with the New York Yankees. And you can take a look at McNally's statistics. They're great ones. Here's the first pitch of the 71 World Series to Cash, and it's ball 1. Cash hit .289 this year. 2 homers, 34 RBIs. Had a good playoff, 8 hits and 19 times up. He's from Utica, New York. And there's a liner in the center. Retman is there, and there's one down. Cash lines to center. Gene Klein is up next. Here's the fastest player in the Pirate team. And we'll watch the Baltimore infield. It'll probably move in a step or two. Gene Klein lives in Richmond, California, 24 years old. He's only 5'9", but in high school he high jumped 6 feet 7 3/4. He hit .308. He's coming strong now, and he's a player of the future for the Pirates. They have a lot of good young ones. McNally's ball's on the inside corner. Just the way McNally likes to work. Move that fastball in and out, break the curves off in the fist, or tease you low and outside with him. A real craftsman. There's the slow one, and he had him way off balance, strike 2. McNally had the longest winning streak of any American League pitcher this past season. He won 13 in a row. Curve is slashed foul down the right field line. No balls, 2 strikes to Gene Klein. Dave McNally had his 4th consecutive 20-win season this year, and he became the first American League pitcher to perform this feat since Red Ruffing of the Yankees back in the 1930s. His fastball's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gene Klein. 1 out, nobody on. There's no score, top of the first. The great one, Roberto Clemente's on deck. That's his nickname in Pittsburgh. Changeup is hit high in the air in the shallow left. Buford coming on, going back to Belanger, and Buford puts it away, and they're 2 down. So changing speeds. McNally fools Kleins. Roberto Clemente hit .341 this year. 13 homers, 86 runs batted in. He had .333 in the National League playoffs. Now let's watch. It's going to be interesting to see where Baltimore defensively plays these batters. They're playing Clemente way over in right center. Retman in right center. See him there, and Frank Robinson toward the right field line. Most clubs in the National League pitch Clemente outside. And that's McNally's pitching him on that outside corner, strike 1. Clemente can pull the inside pitch. He slashes the ball all over, as most of the Pirates do. They're a very hard team to defense. You can't play them just any one way. The 1-strike delivery. There's a drive into deep right center. Frank Robinson going back, and that ball's off the wall. Clemente digging for 2, and he's in there with a stand-up double to the opposite field. Typical Clemente hit.
Curt, let's take a look at that great swing of Roberto Clemente as he just doubled into the alley in right center field. Beautiful. As you mentioned a moment ago, Clemente can and will hit the ball to any and all fields, and that ball seemed to be coming in on him a little bit, yet he took it the other way.
All right, Willie Stargell, who had a miserable playoff for the Pirates, 14 times up without a hit, is hoping to break loose in the World Series. A ball to him. He's the home run king of the major leagues this year with 48. He hit .295. He struck out 6 times in the 4-game National League playoff. The Pirates have Clemente at second, 2 down. No score, top of the first inning. Fastball's away, 2-0. They're playing Stargell as a pull hitter to right. And they're playing him deep. Stargell ahead on the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Fouls it back. 2-1 to Willie Stargell. This is the 6th World Series start for Dave McNally. World Series record, 2 wins and a loss. He shut the Dodgers out 1-0 to complete a 4-game sweep for the Orioles in 1966. 2-1 delivery on the way. Ball 3, 3-1. Working Stargell outside. Stargell, born in Earlsboro, Oklahoma, lives now in Pittsburgh. 30 years old. Right in his prime. The 3-1 delivery. He committed himself. Strike 2. 3-2. The new ballpark in Pittsburgh has helped Stargell. 3-2 pitch. Foul ball. Just got a piece of it. 2 down. Roberto Clemente at second base. No score, first inning. Clemente, of course, an excellent base runner. Four really tough men in a row in this Pirate lineup. Clemente, Stargell, Robertson, and Sanguillen. 3-2 pitch to Willie Stargell. Took him out on the fastball. He blew it by him. No runs for the Pirates. 1 hit, there were no errors, and 1 man left. Middle of the first inning, the score. The Pirates nothing, the Orioles coming to bat.
You see anything different? But after working him outside, he came inside.
Yeah.
Fastball.
Good fastball, yeah. Quick with it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the ball just jumped off the bat. Coach,
30 out. Out. That voice. 4.
55-year-old George Stoller coaching at first for the Orioles, his 4th year as a Baltimore coach, and 43-year-old Billy Hunter coaching at third, used to be a big league ball player, shortstop. This is his 8th season as a Baltimore coach. And the first 3 men up for the Orioles will be Don Buford, Merv Rettenmund, and Boog Powell, facing 26-year-old Dock Ellis. Born in Los Angeles, lives now in Pittsburgh. He won 19 games and lost 9. The year before, he won 13 and lost 10. He was a starter for the National League in the All-Star game. Had a tremendous first half of the season, was slowed down in the second half by elbow problems. Pounding ball by switch-hitting Buford to second baseman Dave Cash, and there's 1 down. Now, Ellis has two types of fastball. One rises, the other one sinks. So Sanguillen, the catcher, will give him two fastball signals. He has a slider and a breaking pitch. Merv Retman, the leading hitter in the Orioles this year, hit .318, 11 homers, 75 runs batted in. A ball to him. And he wound up third in the American League in batting. Retman has been sitting on the bench for a couple of years, part-time. He hits a chopper. Here's a tough play for Hernandez. The throw, he's got him. Good play by Jackie Hernandez. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the fine play again by Hernandez. Now, this is anything but artificial turf, but it is very quick, and what a beautiful play contributed by him. Just got him without any trouble whatsoever. And now let's look at him again, all alone. The throw of Hernandez off balance, coming toward the plate, throwing toward first base. A beautiful play by the Pirates shortstop. Fine.
Boog Powell has a switch on against him now. Notice the shortstop right in back of second. A curve by Ellis is in for a strike. Powell hit .256, 22 homers, 92 RBIs. He's playing with a bad hand. He has torn fibrous tissue in the back of his right hand. He also has a broken wrist earlier in June. And he says his swing is not right. Strike 2. He still hit 2 homers in one game against Oakland, though, in the playoffs. Wonder what he does when he's healthy. 2 down, nobody on, no score in the last of the first inning. Dock Ellis averaged 5 strikeouts a game every 9 innings he pitched this year. And there's a chopper, and the shortstop, Hernandez, handles this one on the right side and throws him out. So Ellis overpowered the Orioles in the last of the first. And at the end of the first inning, our score is Pittsburgh 0 and Baltimore 0.
Yes, sir. What did he have to say to Robertson? Oh, I see.
What do your scouts say about Dave McNally?
All right.
We got it.
Yes, sir.
Out of this. 5, 4. 10 seconds left.
Let's hear from Pirate first baseman Bob Robertson. His opinion about Oriole left-hander, the man starting game number 1 today, the 20-game winner, 21-game winner, Oriole left-hander Dave McNally.
Well, I've never faced McNally before, but our scouting reports on him are that he pitches right-handers away with his breaking stuff, and if he gets 2 strikes on it, he tries to come high and tight with his fastball.
Bob Robertson, strike 1 to him. He is the only starting white player in the Pittsburgh lineup. One time this year, Danny Murtaugh started 9 blacks, and as he said, when it comes to making out my lineup, my players know I'm not colorblind. There's a foul ball back out of play. Robertson had a tremendous playoff series, 3 homers in 1 game at San Francisco, another homer in Pittsburgh against the Giants. And he is a native of Maryland, Frostburg, Maryland, moving along into the line of great sluggers turned out by the state. McNally's 2-strike pitch. Outside. A fellow named Babe Ruth. Home run Baker. Old Double X, Jimmy Fox. Charlie Keller, who lives in Frederick, Maryland, nearby, ex-Yankee slugger. Inside, ball 2, strike 2. Bill Swish Nicholson was from Chestertown, Maryland. The state of Maryland has turned out some hard-hitting ball players. And, of course, Lefty Groh, one of the all-time pitchers. 2-2 to Bob Robertson. To the backstop, 3-2 count. Robertson in '68 missed the entire season. He had a kidney obstruction and had to have kidney surgery. And he's on. McNally high with that fastball on the last two pitches. So the Pirates have had a base runner each inning. And here's the happy one now, Manny Sanguillen. He hit .319 this year. 7 homers, 81 RBIs, a line drive hitter that just sprays the ball all over the ballpark. And he walked only 6 times, aside from intentional walks all year, and over 500 times at bat. He says, I like to swing. Me come up there to hit. Give me 3 pitches, I'm either on or I'm back in the dugout. And he'll swing at anything. He is the fastest running catcher in baseball. He's hard to double up. Robertson at first. Nobody out. Foul ball, strike 1.
Curt, you mentioned that Manny will swing at anything. I believe this is true that he swung at a pitch this year that hit him.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit. He's always got that grin on his face. I've seen him swing at him over his head and in the dirt. A 1-strike pitch. And down to second goes Bob Robertson. A wild pitch charged against Dave McNally. You don't usually see McNally this far out of the strike zone, do you, Chuck?
No, it is not a pattern of McNally to throw anything but strikes. He is the kind of pitcher that, as you know very well, Curt, that believes in making the batter hit his pitch. He doesn't feature very many strikeouts. He is seldom very wild. And there is another thing that is very true of McNally. He seldom, if ever, beats himself. And, of course, walks and wild pitches would be beating yourself. He's the kind of fellow you have to go get.
He walked 2.3 batters every 9 innings this year. And as Chuck said, he's not a strikeout pitcher. He averaged only 3.7 strikeouts for every 9 innings this year. He's usually around the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Manny Sanguillen, native of Panama. Ball 2 to Sanguillen. 2-1. Pirates had Clemente on second in the first inning. Now they have Robertson on second here in the second inning. Nobody out. 2-1 delivery. Ground ball to short. Belanger is going to third and hits the runner. Robertson goes into the dugout. Bob Robertson scores. And down to second goes Sanguillen. And the Orioles, who are not supposed to make many mistakes, who don't beat themselves, watch this rerun now, have hurt themselves here in the second inning.
They really have. The Belanger throw, it looks as though it hit Robertson right on the batting helmet coming in, and that is exactly what happened. Hit Robertson on the batting helmet, and another point for wearing that helmet on the base pass. The error is charged to the shortstop. Now here comes Robertson all alone, right toward third base, and the ball hits him on the batting helmet. Nothing Brooks can do about it. Charge, shortstop Belanger with the error. Pirates lead 1-0. Curt?
It's always a gamble play, that play going to third. Pitch is high for a ball. Sanguillen wound up at second. Belanger charged with an error. The Pirates leading 1-0. Nobody out. And Jose Pagan, who hit .241 this year, chops it to McNally. He's going to have to hurry this throw, and it is just in time. Sanguillen made his turn and holds at third. Pagan out from McNally to Powell. Jackie Hernandez coming up. Hit .206 during the year. If there's one weak spot in that Pirate batting order, it's Hernandez. And the pitcher. Now the infield draws in. Right on the edge of the grass. The outfield will play Hernandez straight away. A fast man, Sanguillen at third. There's a squeeze on. It's the suicide squeeze to the plate. Gets by the catcher. Sanguillen scores. There goes Hernandez down to second. And that's twice the Orioles have thrown the ball away. But I think the suicide squeeze would have worked anyway. The runner was coming on the pitch.
Well, it was definitely, as you said, Curt, the suicide squeeze, a runner coming, and McNally got to it and knew he had to hurry. He couldn't take time to set up and make the throw. Well, now as we look at it on the magic of videotape, it's quite possible that Hendricks might have had a play. Here comes that runner, Sanguillen, headed for the plate. Now, see if you don't think that maybe Hendricks, with a better throw, might have had a play. I think he might have had a play with a better throw, and they might have gotten Sanguillen at the plate, but the throw was off the mark. And again, the Orioles have made something they don't often do, another mistake.
A sacrifice for Hernandez. An error charged on the catcher, Hendricks. And Dock Ellis, the Pirate pitcher's up. Fastball for a strike to him. Pirates lead 2-0. The Orioles, a brilliant defensive team, have not looked that way so far in this game. One strike to Ellis. Only one down and a runner on second. It's outside. Ball one, strike one. I don't believe that throw could have got him at the plate, Chuck. It was off to the side. But you never know until they both were there together. Swung late, strike two. 1-2 to Dock Ellis.
Curt, you know, as we looked at that replay again, obviously he would not have been able to get him with that kind of a throw. But a better throw had it been to the inside of the plate, and certainly Hendricks did have a play on the suicide squeeze, but McNally didn't make the good throw.
The 1-2 pitch to Dock Ellis. Full and a high fastball. Second strikeout for McNally. Now the top of the order, and Dave Cash, who lined to center his first time. Cash, a fine all-around athlete at Utica, New York. 2 down for the Pirates. Jackie Hernandez at second. They gave Hernandez an RBI on that bunt. On that suicide squeeze bunt. There's a line drive into center. Hernandez is coming in to score, and the Pirates have a 3-0 lead. Cash singles to center. So a 3-run inning here for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And now Earl Weaver comes out, and we're going to get some action in the Baltimore bullpen. Grant Jackson and Dave Leonard are starting to warm up. Jackson is the left-hander. Leonard is the right-hander. Earl Weaver going back.
Just a quick point as we watch Weaver to the dugout. This is a job that Curt normally would be handled by the Oriole pitching coach, George Bamberger. Unfortunately, Bamberger is confined to a Baltimore hospital, recuperating, doing very well, but he will be there for another 2 weeks and is unable to serve, as he has served so well for Baltimore as the pitching coach.
Gene Klein's flying to left field his first time. A strike to him. Cash, a fast man at first. He stole 13 bases in 18 attempts this year. Ellie Hendricks is not the greatest defensive catcher in baseball. They may try and go on him. His counterpart, Manny Sanguillen, has one of the best throwing arms in the game. Both catchers box the ball around a bit in back of the plate. Bounding ball to Belanger. The second base, he had trouble digging the ball out of his glove, and it was a closer play than it looked when it started. Belanger had trouble getting the ball out of his mitt. A force out at second on Cash. 3 runs for the Pirates. They had only 1 hit. There were 2 errors and 1 left. And at the end of an inning and a half, it's Pittsburgh 3, Baltimore 0.
Your attention, please. Frank Melnick.
Against side of blue, McNally in the first 4 innings gave up 3 runs and 6 hits, and then shut him out on 1 hit for the remaining 3.
What's Durgan's title? What's his title? What's Durgan? The commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, and to his left is Julian Goodman, the president of the National Broadcasting Company. To Mr. Goodman's left is Don Durgan, the president of the NBC Television Network. Mrs. Kuhn next to the commissioner. And now it's Frank Robinson, Ellie Hendricks, and Brooks Robinson up in the last half the second. Frank Robinson hit .281 for the year, 28 homers, 99 RBI. Dock Ellis is inside with a breaking pitch for a ball. Robinson didn't hit much in the playoffs, only one hit in 12 times. There's that sinker, 1-1. Dock Ellis's 8th professional season. Began in a Pirate organization in '64. He was booed today when his name was announced as the starting pitcher. And making the newspapers and radio. There's a high drive into deep left, way up. That one is going, and it is gone. A home run for Frank Robinson.
Let's take a look again at the swing of Frank Robinson that puts Baltimore on the board. This is something Frank has done in every World Series in which he has played. He has hit at least a home run. And this home run will be his 7th World Series home run. And as Curt mentioned, there just wasn't any doubt about it. The minute it left the bat, it was gone, and the Orioles have a run.
Ellie Hendricks goes after the inside pitch and fouls it off. Hendricks hit .250 for the year. Had 2 out of 4. There's the Pirate manager in his jacket with his arms crossed, Danny Murtaugh. Bill Burden to his left. Bounding ball and a broken bat. Cash fields it, throws to first, and gets Hendricks one down. And Brooks Robinson, the most popular ball player of all time here in this city of Baltimore, is up. You all remember the show he put on last year. But he was laughingly telling me today they didn't remember the '69 series. There's a high drive and a deep left. Room, though, for Gene Klein. He has it, and there are 2 down. Because Brooks Robinson in the '69 World Series had only 1 hit in 19 times up. Now it's Dave Johnson coming up. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. And any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. 3-1 Pittsburgh, last half the second. Dave Johnson. A good pitch, knee high in that outside corner. Johnson hit .282. Hit .281 last year and .280 the year before. He's going up a point a season. A strike to him. 0-2. The on-deck batter is Mark Belanger. Very solid ball player, this boy, Johnson. The 2-strike pitch. A soft liner back to the box, and that's all. 1 run, 1 hit, the home run by Frank Robinson. No errors, nobody left. At the end of 2 innings, Pittsburgh 3 and Baltimore 1.
How's he getting out of the slump? Okay. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, but don't crowd us up too much now. Right, forever. Wait a little bit. Why do they want to push everything right in the first inning? 5? The Pittsburgh coaches today are Don Leppert, 39 years old. This is his 4th season as Pittsburgh coach. He's at first base. And over at third is 59-year-old Frank Oshiak, who's serving his 9th season as a Pirate coach. And Roberto Clemente will lead off in the 3rd inning for Pittsburgh, to be followed by Willie Stargell and Bob Robertson. Clemente doubled off the right center field fence his first time. He's one of the few left from the Pirate 1960 World Championship team. Ball went to him. Incidentally, the Pirate owner, Mr. John Galbraith, is leaving after this game today for Paris, France. A 1-0 pitch. Curve is in, 1-1. He has one of the top 2-year-old race horses in the world over there, and he named the horse Roberto after Roberto Clemente. A 1-1 pitch. And there's a typical Clemente hit again, reaching out, slashing it into center. That pitch looked like it'd be about a foot outside, Chuck.
Hit it as if, like a stork. Now, here's Willie Stargell, and of course, as Curt has already commented, Stargell has been in a little bit of a slump. It's a worrisome thing. It happens to every ball player who's ever played the game. So Stargell was asked, what does he intend to do to get out of it?
Well, last year, I hit in the playoffs, and we didn't win. This year, I didn't hit, and we won. It took the death to be here. Personally, I've been taking some batting practice, hopefully that I can do some of the things that I'm capable of doing and have a big series. I've never been in the World Series before, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one.
Willie Stargell has a count of 1 ball and no strikes. It's 2-0 to him now. Pirates ahead 3-1. They've had 3 hits. The Orioles have had 1 hit. Clemente's at first, nobody out. The 2-0 pitch. Ball 3 is high. Three and 0. Stargell will get the green light on this one. A strike, 3-1. We have action again in the Baltimore bullpen. Dave Leonard, a right-hander, warming up. 3-1 pitch. With a fastball, 3-2 for Willie Stargell. Now let's see if they start Clemente. No. Foul, back out of play. Dave McNally never pitched in high school, but he pitched in American Legion ball. In fact, American Legion post number 4 in Billings, Montana was the team he pitched for. The 3-2 delivery. He walked him, and the Pirates have runners on first and second, nobody out. And Bob Robertson coming up. And McNally's old American Legion coach and his wife are here as his guests for the World Series. Must be quite a Legion team. They won 26 out of 28 state titles. It's not a bad record. 3-1 on the NBC scoreboard. The Pirates are ahead. If you joined us late, the Pirates got 3 in the top of the second. Baltimore made 2 errors. Frank Robinson hit a homer in the last of the second for the Orioles. And the Pirates are threatening again. They've had at least 1 runner on each inning. 0-1 to Bob Robertson, who walked his first time. Deep and about a step or 2 toward left for Bob Robertson. But he can hit home runs over the right center field wall and the right field fence. We saw him do it in San Francisco. Left, center, and right in the same game. Foul ball, strike 2. 0-2 to Bob Robertson. That's Clemente, the lead runner, at second. Stargell at first. Nobody out. A ball and 2 strikes to him. Slight breeze now blowing from third to first. Notice those white houses up there in the background of the hill. A left-hander coming straight overhand. That ball will come out of those white houses and give the hitter some problems, some background problems. A 1-2 pitch. Struck him out on a fastball. That's the 3rd strikeout for McNally. And Manny Sanguillen's up. He was on with a fielder's choice his first time. Sanguillen didn't play baseball. As a youngster, he was a soccer player in Panama. He went to a Bible school in high school, and that's when he started playing baseball. Now they're playing him in the right center and right field. 1 out, runners on first and second. Strike 1. Earl Weaver was telling us that this World Series could be won and lost on the way the managers position their players on defense. He said the Mets beat us in '69 because they were always there when we hit the ball. And he said Pittsburgh's hard to defense. You never know where they're going to hit it. Foul ball back. They've already announced the paid attendance today, 53,229. Two strikes to Manny Sanguillen. Clemente's at second. Stargell's at first. 1 away. The Pirates ahead 3-1. They got him. Strike 3. Just ticked it into the mitt of Ellie Hendricks. A foul tip. A bad pitch outside. 4 strikeouts for McNally. This may be a crucial inning for McNally. Oakland got ahead of him the first game of the playoffs, 3-1. And then McNally settled down after the 5th inning and shut him out the rest of the way. And he was here in the 3rd. This one's not over yet this inning. He has Pagan now to face. But he has struck out Robertson and Sanguillen in a row. Pagan hits a fly ball to left center. Don Buford's there. Sides retired. No run. 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. That could be a lift for McNally and the Orioles. At the end of 2.5 innings, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates 3, the Baltimore Orioles 1.
Good point, Curt. Play all year long and just play their game, no matter what went wrong. They just play their game and hope that they can do what needs to be done.
0-9-7.
That's how it's going now.
That's going there. That's good. I'm going to leave going. What's Gowdy like?
That's how it's going.
How's it going?
Get on this kid.
Get on my phone. If I say anything else, or they know who he is.
Last half the 3rd inning for Baltimore. The shortstop hitting in the number 8 position, Mark Belanger. To be followed by Dave McNally, then to the top of the order, and Don Buford. Belanger hit .266. He has had roller coaster seasons the last 4 years. And there's a bounding ball. Skips through for a base hit by Belanger. Belanger goes up about 50 points, then dropped off again, back up again. Dave McNally has hit 2 World Series home runs. The only other man in series history to do that has been Bob Gibson of the pitchers. Strike to McNally. McNally hit a home run in the World Series against Jerry Koosman in '69. And you'll remember last year he became the first pitcher ever to hit a grand slam home run. He hit that one off Wayne Granger. Strike two. Nothing in two. He had ideas of sacrificing that time. No balls, 2 strikes to McNally. Pagan stays even with the bag at third. And Bob Robertson, the Pirate first baseman, is one of the best in the game at playing the bunt. Outside. He is deadly on charging bunts and throwing to second or third. Now Danny Murtaugh says check with somebody out there. Did he commit himself or not? Danny Murtaugh, who was 54 years old yesterday. He doesn't have an awful lot to say, but don't let him fool you. He's a competitor.
Maybe he didn't say a lot, but that look he directed toward first base had a few words in it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to McNally. Belanger at first, nobody out. Strike 3, he's gone. First strikeout for Dock Ellis. Switch hitting Don Buford up, grounded out to second his first time. Buford had about 30 cc of fluid drained from his knee a couple of weeks ago. He has a chronic bad knee that he got playing college football at USC. A surprising power when you look at him. He's a squat figure, but he hit 19 homers. Ball 1 to Buford. We're now at the top of the Oriole batting order. The Pirates are leading 3-1 last of the third. Belanger at first, 1 out. A 1-1 count. So far, Ellis has looked sharp. He's got a good fastball today and breaking stuff. He was not impressive out of San Francisco in the playoffs. His elbow was bothering him. Pitched only 5 innings. There's a ground ball in the right field for a base hit. Clemente has a great arm, and they respect it. Roberto Clemente, although the throw get away, they're not going to go from first to third on Clemente, especially when they're trailing. So the Orioles have runners on first and second. 1 down. And Merv Retman up. He grounded out his first time.
We'll have a chance to look at it this time, Curt. I wanted to comment on it the first time Retman came up. The Pirates are playing Retman quite a bit differently than the clubs in the American League played him. As we look at center fielder Kleins, he is just a step or two toward right center. For the most part, Retman is respected as one of the harder hitters to the opposite field in the American League. And now I see that Kleins is getting a little bit more toward right.
Merv Retman, the outstanding athlete ever produced at Ball State, Muncie, Indiana. A ball to him. He was a good enough football player to be drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. We were saying the first time up that he's been a very patient fellow. He could have played regular with most teams in the major leagues, but he had to sit on the bench here until he finally got his chance this year. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, runners on first and second. Outside, 2-0 to Merv Retman. Well, each club has had 3 hits. These are going to be 2 tough clubs to stop. They each led their league in runs scored. Breaking pitch for a strike. Baltimore led their league in batting average with 261. The Pirates didn't lead their league. They hit 274 as a team, 1 point behind the Cardinals. But the Orioles had more home runs than the Pirates. There's a drive into deep left field, way back, and that ball is gone for a home run for Merv Retman.
Redmond home run swing. Stargell desperately trying to get to it, and it was just a long time gone. And now let's take a look at Redmond all alone in the power of this swing. Though he has hit but 11 home runs in the regular campaign, he just got everything he had into that cut, did he not, Curt?
He sure did, and he had his head down right on that ball, the way a good hitter should. There's ball one to Boog Powell. Merv Redmond's second series home run. He hit one in the final game last year off Cloninger. And he was put in the lineup today in place of Paul Blair to get a little more punch into the Baltimore batting order, and Earl Weaver pushed the right button with him today. Change-up. Strike one, 1-1. Bob Moose now warming up in the Pirate bullpen. And the Orioles take the lead 4-3. A 1-1 pitch. Low. We said the Orioles had hit 5 more homers than Pittsburgh, yet the Pirates led the National League in home runs. Now you have 2 real power teams going at each other. 1 out, nobody on. 2 balls and a strike. Foul back, 2-2. Quite a play made up in the stands. There's Frank Robinson on deck. They have a shift on against Powell. Long drive foul down the left field line. Boog Powell was a high school tackle at Key West, Florida. The quarterback behind him was George Myra. Boog had about 25-30 scholarship offered to him, but he chose professional baseball. 3-2 to Powell. One out, nobody on. Powell walks. Don Leppert now is coming out of the... Bill Burden, I beg your pardon. Didn't tell him from the side. Bill Burden, who probably will succeed Danny Murtaugh. Murtaugh retires. Murtaugh can have the Pirate managing job as long as he wants. It's up to him. And that's going to be all for Dock Ellis. He goes out. And there's a break in the action here at Baltimore with a score. The Baltimore Orioles 4, Pittsburgh Pirates 3. And now a word on behalf of Major League Baseball. All right, Tony, where are you?
I'm sitting right alongside the dugout, the third base dugout of the Orioles, Curt, and You know, we had a chance so far to see a couple of things very unusual about the Orioles especially. One fact that they very seldom give up runs. They very seldom are intimidated by an opposing team. They were by the Pittsburgh Pirates when they gave up 3 runs on just 1 hit, committed 2 errors. We also saw the great competitive spirit of this ball club led by their team leader, Frank Robinson. After the 3 runs were given up, Robbie went up to the plate, first man up, hit the home run, and right then you could see the aura of this club in the dugout change from one of a little bit of dejection having giving up those 3 runs to one of wanting to win again, and their pride was hurt, and Robbie pulled them back out again. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Tony. And now here is Frank Robinson facing Bob Moose, 24 years old today, Bob Moose. A happy birthday to him. Born in Export, Pennsylvania, which is about 15 miles from Old Forbes Field. Bob lives in Pittsburgh now. He won 11 and lost 7 this year with an earned run average of 4.11. Strike to Frank Robinson. Moose was used as a starter 18 times and as a relief pitcher 12 times. Boog Powell at first. 1 down, the Orioles ahead 4-3 in the last of the 3rd. Playing off the bag against Powell. Van Gien boxed that one in front of him. A ball and a strike. They're giving Frank Robinson the right field corner. Wide open out there. They're deep and toward left for him. 1-1 pitch. He was trying to go to right, too. He was trying to smash that ball through the right side of the infield or into the right field corner. A big hole on the right side of the infield.
Curt, a year ago, he was 0 for 9 in the World Series and still tried to go to right field and got a base hit out of it when the Orioles came home.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bob Moose strikes him out. 2 down. Monday morning on Today, join Barbara Waller, Joe Garagiola, Frank Blair, and the entire staff in welcoming new host Frank McGee to Today right here on NBC. Ellie Hendricks up, grounded out his first time. And they're playing him almost with a shift. Gets away, there goes Powell to second. A wild pitch charged against Bob Moose. 2 down, Powell now in scoring position. They have called the catching position the weakest spot in the Baltimore lineup, and yet the Baltimore catchers have produced 19 home runs this year. 9 by Hendricks, 9 by Etchebarren, and 1 by Dalrymple. Hendricks can pull the ball to right a long way. On the corner to him. A ball and a strike.
I'm just thinking, Curt, that if Moose can keep the ball where he had it the last pitch to Hendricks all day, he'll not have any trouble with Elrod. That was a perfect pitch to Hendricks.
Trying to keep it there, but that time he missed. 2-1. You remember in the '69 World Series against the Mets, one of those unbelievable catches that Tommy Agee made was off the bat of Hendricks to deep left center. He's not supposed to hit there, but he did.
Who can forget the Hendricks hit in the World Series in Cincinnati last year? 4,000 hops over third base.
Right. 2 balls and a strike to Hendricks. 3-1. Boog Powell at second, 2 down. The Orioles ahead 4-3, last of the 3rd. Three and 2. That's Jackie Hernandez that you see in back of second, the shortstop. And he's played 2 or 3 of the Oriole hitters this way now. Three and 2 to Ellie Hendricks. There's a drive into right center. Clemente going back. He came in on the ball and had to go back. You very seldom see Clemente do that. Charging and then had to reverse direction. 3 runs for the Orioles. 3 hits. There were no errors. 1 left. At the end of 3, the score, Baltimore 4, Pittsburgh 3.
7.
The batter, number 2, Jack Hernandez.
Jack Hernandez will lead off for the Pirates, their number 8 hitter in the lineup, followed by the pitcher Moose and then Dave Cash at the top of the order. Hernandez credited with a sacrifice bunt and a run batted in his first time. A strike. Well, we'll have to see what happens, but you could have had a turning point in this game in the 3rd. And the Pirates had runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. And then McNally struck out Robertson, Sanguin, and got Pagan on a fly. Foul ball. Had Robertson or Sanguin done something and given the Pirates some scores, McNally might have been out. He's one of those pitchers like Cuellar. You don't want to let him get away. You better deliver that knockout blow early on him. You've got him. The 2-strike pitch. 1-2 to Jackie Hernandez. Foul ball. He's had some record here in Baltimore the last 4 years. He's won 48 out of 60 games in this ballpark. The 1-2 pitch. It's like a slider up high. 2-2.
Among them, I think, really amazing things about McNally, Curt, is the fact that here's a fellow who won 21 games, and yet he spent 38 days on the disabled list. That's, you know, incredible.
Really is, Chuck. The 2-2 pitch to Hernandez. Fastball got him. That's 5 strikeouts for McNally. And as we told you, he averages only about 3.5 strikeouts a game. Is he a little faster than usual, Chuck?
He is throwing a little harder today, and I was just going to remind you again, Curt, that I was the fellow that said he wasn't a strikeout pitcher. And now he's got 5 of them.
Well, he has been today. Bob Moose is up for the first time. The ball to him. Four to 3, Baltimore leading, top of the 4th. Foul into the seats. 1-1 to Bob Moose.
Just one final comment on the strikeouts of McNally. When he won his 20th game against the Yankees, he pitched a shutout, and he had his strikeout high for the year, 7.
One delivery. Foul ball. 1-2 to Bob Moose. Game 2 tomorrow. We'll be on at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time. That's Cash on deck. Oh, beautiful curveball. And now McNally has struck out 6. Dave Cash lined to center his first time and then singled. Baltimore 4, Pittsburgh 3 in the top of the 4th. McNally has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters. Curve hangs outside. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television. Curt Gowdy, Chuck Thompson, and Tony Kubek back with you as McNally sends a sweeping curve across. A ball and a strike. His breaking pitch seems to be sharper now than it was earlier. Fastball, 2-1 to Cash, 2 down, bases empty. The on-deck batter is Gene Clines. And after that fastball to make it 2-2, and McNally really jammed him with that one, right on the fist. Two-two pitch. Line drive to right fielder Frank Robinson. And the Pirates are down 1-2-3. So at the end of 3.5 innings, the score is the Baltimore Orioles 4, the Pittsburgh Pirates 3. Let this guy get away.
Funny, there is that slight parallel that you mentioned in his start against Vida Blue. He got nailed for 6 hits and 3 runs. Thank you.
In the last of the 4th inning, Brooks Robinson, Dave Johnson, and Mark Belanger will be up for the Orioles. Robinson flied to center his first time. Play in deep, 2 steps toward left. Bob Moose's pitch is a chopper, hauled down by Moose, 1 away. Good fielding play by Bob Moose. Dave Johnson lined to the pitcher his first time.
Number 15, Dave Johnson.
Dock Ellis, the starter, went 2 in the 3rd innings, allowed 4 hits, 4 runs. Walked 1 and struck out 1. He was removed in the 3rd. Just outside a ball to Dave Johnson, who in the offseason now is going to be a golf professional in Florida. He hits a high fly to Clemente in right center. 2 down. And this Baltimore bat boy, Jay Mazzone, is going to retire after this World Series at the age of 18. He's going to college. Very courageous story. We'll be talking to him later. Gets $5 a game, but a share of the World Series voted to him by the Orioles. They love him. Mark Belanger, outside the ball. He lost his hands in a fire. His father is an undercover narcotics agent for the Maryland State Police. And he's a great example to all you youngsters around America that you can do what you want to do. Ball 2, 2-0. Belanger singled up the middle his first time. 3-0 to Mark Belanger. He was quite a basketball star at Pittsfield, Massachusetts. He's got the build of a basketball player. Tall, lean, big hands, quick action. 3-1. 2 down, nobody on. Baltimore leading 4-3, last to the 4th. There's a drive in the right field. Clemente charging. Ricochets off his leg and glove. Belanger coming for 3. Clemente picks the ball up and it's too late. Clemente, normally an acrobat in the outfield, with a diving attempt at that one, and it must have struck his right leg, Chuck.
Well, let's watch it again. The effort of Clemente to get the line drive in the alley in right center. And it caromed, as you saw, right off the left knee and really took off as if somebody, had hit it with a bat. And yes, that outfield is a little bit bumpy and a little bit tough to handle. And I'm not sure whether Roberto was in between coming into a slide to make the catch and then decided, well, maybe I can get it on the fly. 3-base hit.
Belanger has a triple. He's on third. There are 2 down. And the Oriole pitcher, Dave McNally's up. He struck out his first time. Five hits for the Orioles, 2 homers and a triple among them. The Pirates have had 3 hits. The Orioles leading 4-3. 0-1 to McNally. That's Mrs. Dave McNally in the background in the circle. Hoping her husband can help his own cause right now. The 1-strike pitch to him. 0-2 to McNally. Belanger at third, 2 down. Just outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to McNally. I believe only another player or 2 has come from Montana into the big leagues. The climate is not conducive to play baseball the year round. The 1-2 pitch. Struck him out. No runs, 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 left. And at the end of 4 innings, the score is Baltimore 4 and Pittsburgh 3. We have a big baseball football doubleheader on NBC. The World Series Game 2 will be on starting at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time. To be followed by the Oakland Raiders and Denver Bronco NFL game right after World Series Game number 2. And tomorrow's pitchers, 2 right-handers, Jim Palmer for the Orioles, Bob Johnson for the Pirates. Gene Kleins is flying to left, hit into a force play. And it's a strike for McNally. Active major leaguers born in Montana. Dave McNally that you're looking at right now on the mound. From Billings. Ground ball. Brooks Robinson stabs it. 1 down. There he goes into action.
And I caution you again, this is 1971, not 1970. And here is the miraculous glove of Brooks Robinson. And again, I'm sure you have heard this comment, and Curt has used it a few times, that everything Brooks Robinson does, he does with his left hand, except throw a baseball. He writes with his left hand, he beats with his left hand. Here it is again, from a different angle. And just an outstanding, or I guess for Brooks, a routine defensive play.
Roberto Clemente has doubled to right center off the wall and single to center, 2 out of 2. Gary Niebauer, an Atlanta pitcher, is born in Billings, Montana. And John Lowenstein, a Cleveland infielder from Wolf Point, Montana. So they have 3 in the majors. Nice one. I just want those folks out there to take care of those great blue ribbon trout streams they have. Keep them cold and clear and don't build any unnecessary dams. Marvelous trout streams. God-given. Ball 1, strike 1 to Roberto Clemente. 4-3. The Orioles leading, the Pirates batting in the 5th with 1 out, nobody on. Clemente hits a high fly out to Frank Robinson. The right fielder has it, and they're 2 down. Willie Stargell has struck out and walked. And now Dave McNally has retired 8 in a row. They let him off the hook in the 3rd when they had runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Ball 1. He'd had a wild pitch in the 2nd. He'd walked the batter. The Orioles played sloppy baseball in the 2nd, gave up a couple of runs on errors. Ground ball to short. Belanger, a bad hop to him, but he still has it with those quick hands of his. That nearly hit him in the throat. 3 up and 3 down for the Pirates in the 5th. And at the end of 4.5 innings, it's Baltimore 4 and Pittsburgh 3. Yeah. Right.
Correct. All right. All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
That was quite a nasty hop to the Belanger. Can you get it? Lou? Bad hop, wasn't it?
It was a bad hop. That was a comment Weaver made that he thought that his infield had played a bad hop, should have commented it.
Game 1 of the World Series is half over. We're going now to the last of the 5th inning. And moving in now to detail the play-by-play action is the very popular and capable Chuck Thompson, the voice of the Baltimore Orioles.
Thank you very much, Curt, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Buford, and he is 1 for 2 today, and that's the story on his seasonal work with the Orioles. One other comment. Buford with 19 home runs 5 times this year opened an Oriole game with a home run. I guess that might have been called a timely comment. Well, he is now 2 for 3, and Baltimore with a 5-3 lead over Pittsburgh. And there have been a total of 9 base hits in the ball game. The Orioles have authored 3 home runs and a triple. And now Rettenmund with a key hit in the Oriole 3rd inning, the 3-run home run. Buford's home run is his 3rd series home run. But his first in his first at-bat in '69, he had one, also 1 in 7. 1-1 to Rettenmund. Rettenmund led the Oriole club in hitting with .318. He also led the club in stolen bases with 15. Ball, 2 strikes to Rettenmund. You're watching Bob Moose, who was pitching in relief of starter Dock Ellis, who went 2 1/3 innings. Good breaking stuff for Moose, and he notches his 3rd strikeout, 1 out in the inning. I'm sure you are aware they are not really booing Boog Powell. They just kind of croon his first name, Boog. And the big man has said, you better believe I can hear that G. Powell has grounded to short and walked. Ball 1. And the Pirates continue to play Powell as they have each trip to the plate. An overshift with 3 infielders between first and second, and the outfield, as you saw earlier, deep and around the right. Ball 2. Powell, we take a look now at the disposition defensively of the Pirates. And here's that inviting third base side of the infield. Of course, I would imagine Pittsburgh would be happy to try and have Powell go the other way. Now, third baseman Pagan. Now, you see the wind that Curt mentioned a little earlier, going from third to first, is what dropped it back in fair ground. 2 down. The NBC television network is doing the World Series for the 25th time. The inaugural telecast of the Yankee-Dodger series of 1947, NBC had a modest network of 4 stations. In this series, 200. And here is Frank Robinson. Homered in the first inning. Struck out in the third. He was
the first man that Moose faced in the third inning. Ball. Ball 2. As Tony Kubek commented earlier, the spark was ignited on the Frank Robinson home run in the second inning. And I think back, and many of you do too, I'm sure, to the Orioles' first World Series in 1966 against the Dodgers. And this was the man who ignited the spark with a home run. 2-1 to Frank. Moose again with fine breaking stuff. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. No. A full count, 3-2 to Frank Robinson. 2 out, a run in on the Buford leadoff home run. Baltimore 5, Pittsburgh 3, Game 1 of the 1971 World Series. Second time Moose has fanned Frank Robinson. The Orioles a run, a base hit, and nobody left on at the end of 5. The score, Baltimore 5 and Pittsburgh 3. Before the Pirates come to bat, we pause now for station identification.
Batter, number 7, Bob Roberto.
You're looking at Bob Robertson, Pirate first baseman. He walked in the second inning, scored the Pirates' first run. He struck out in the third inning. Incidentally, since the walk to Stargell in the third inning, Baltimore's left-handed McNally has now retired 9 in a row. Foul ball. Foul ball is the call from third base umpire. Ed Barker.
If that ball had been fair, Chuck, Brooks Robinson would have had a play that he almost duplicated in the World Series last year when he had to cross the line and make an off-balance throw from foul territory. Here he is now. Robinson, as Chuck and all of us have told you, is not a fast runner, but he has lightning reflexes for a step or two with hands and feet. He doesn't need to be fast. He just moves quickly with those hands and his feet.
2 strikes, the count to Bob Robertson. One and 2. Good hard driving fastball from McNally down and away. And another one. And for McNally, his 7th strikeout of the game. In this World Series, NBC will televise to over 200 stations. Plus, the game will be seen in Taiwan, Canada, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Colombia, Bermuda, Panama, and the Virgin Islands, the Dominican Republic, Hawaii, and the Philippines.
Remember when this used to go to the Mississippi River?
Strike 1 to Sanguillen. Yes, Curt, both of us are around that long. Sanguillen reached on the fielder's choice. That is to say, he hit the ground ball to Belanger. Belanger tried to get a play on Robertson at third and hit Robertson in the head and bounded away. And Manny reached. Then he struck out in the third. Watch Retton on the center fielder. 2 down. 11 in a row now, retired by McNally.
Any kind of support, Chuck. McNally could be working on a shutout. All 3 Pirate runs for those who have joined us late were unearned in the second inning when the Orioles made 2 errors, throwing errors on the baseline.
Study and concentration. McNally ready to work to Jose Pagan. He has bounced to the mound and flied to left. Ball 1.
Got quite a pattern working now, moving that fastball in, then out, and throwing a breaking pitch, mixing them up. Great pattern going for himself.
Brooks Robinson to Boog Powell for the final out. The Pirates are 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 5 1/2 innings of play, the score is Baltimore 5 and Pittsburgh 3.
Number 32 warming up.
32.
And that's Bob Miller.
He started
the
3rd game of the championship series in '69 against Baltimore.
Bob Miller.
I believe he did. I've got a 70-year pension.
Sure will do a promo.
Good, good. Thank you.
A reminder to all sports fans that in February 1972, NBC Sports will be in Sapporo, Japan, telecasting the '72 Olympic Winter Games. Over 30 hours of alpine skiing, ski jumping, cross-country, bobsledding, speed skating, figure skating, hockey. All the events that make the Winter Olympics so exciting. And you'll see it right here on NBC. 5-3, Baltimore leading. They're batting last of the 6th. Here's Chuck again.
Elrod Hendricks 0 for 2. Has grounded a second and fly to right fielder Clemente. Ball 1 to Hendricks. Now a ball 2, and the Pirates are playing Hendricks, as you see by position of shortstop Hernandez, just exactly the way they play Powell. The very same way. 3 men between first and second, outfield deep and right. And there they are. Just the way they defensively set up against Boog. On deck hitter, Brooks Robinson. 2-1. I think the comment was made earlier that Moose working the ball inside to Elrod Hendricks. Hendricks with good power for such a slender man. 9 home runs. And look at the shortstop. This is shortstop Hernandez behind the bag. Actually the first base side, and we have 1 out.
That's twice, Chuck. By playing the shortstop there, they prevented base hits from going through the middle.
Number 5.
Here is Brooks Robinson, hitless in 2 trips, fly to center, and was out on a comebacker to the mound. Had the fantastic World Series against Cincinnati last year. And just, won all of the awards. And when he went home, driving home with his beautiful wife, Connie, after the game, he had to be one of the happiest men in the world until he got home. And then he had a put down from his 6-year-old son. Everybody in the world realized what a great series Brooks had, and he walked into the house, and Mike walked up to him and said, "Hey, Dad, who won?" Brooks said, "That's the kind of a come-down I needed."
They can humble you, can't they?
They really can. It's 2 balls, no strikes to Brooks Robinson. Again, if you just joined us, you're watching Bob Moose in relief of starter Dock Ellis, who went 2 1/3 innings, 4 Oriole hits and 4 runs. 2-1 to Brooks Robinson, including a solo home run by Frank Robinson, a 3-run home run by Merv Rettenmund in the Oriole third. Three balls, 1 strike. Base hit. Whoop. I'd have to say that Gene Klein was a little bit anxious to make a pickup on that, but he handled it without getting in any trouble. Hit number 7 for the Orioles. And the batter is Dave Johnson. Dave has gone out on a broken bat line drive to the mound and then fly to the right fielder. And he started this season, as you see, in tremendous fashion with a 17-game hitting streak.
And a good man going to right field behind the runner.
Absolutely. There's one thing that Dave kind of bugs his manager. He's a fellow who is not content with one stance. He uses many different stances in the course of the year. That's it fairly well. We'll watch left fielder Scarjo. Does he have a play? He's got it right off the wall. And a beautiful throw to second.
On drug abuse, if your child is school age, you'd better start doing your drug homework. You'll find a simplified cram course on drug abuse in the Federal Source Book, answers to the most frequently asked questions about drug abuse. For your free copy, write to National Clearinghouse for Drug Abuse Information, Box 1080, Washington, D.C. Do your drug homework before you talk with your youngsters. Bob Moose in 3 2/3 innings of relief allowed 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, struck out 4. And Bob Miller comes on now for the Pirates. Bob Miller won 8, lost 5, an earned run average of 1.64. The Pirates had a strong bullpen all year long with Justy and Veal and Miller. We want to remind you that tomorrow, starting at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time, we'll have a baseball-football doubleheader on NBC. Game 2 of the World Series tomorrow, Jim Palmer against Bob Johnson, 2 right-handers. And Game 2 of the World Series will be followed by the Oakland Raiders Denver Bronco NFL football game. Both right here on NBC tomorrow. McNally getting a well-deserved round of applause as he leads off in the last of the 7th.
All right, Curt, here is McNally, and he's struck out both times on against Pirate Hurling this afternoon. And on the mound is Bob Miller with 3 clubs in 71. He was with the Cubs, San Diego, and with the Pirates in 2 previous World Series. And a couple of years ago, Miller started the 3rd game of the American League Championship Series against the Orioles and was a losing pitcher. 1 strike to Dave McNally. 1 ball, 1 strike. A ball and 2 strikes. Bob Miller with the lowest ERA of any pitcher in the National League in more than 10 games. Been in 56 games this year, won 8, lost 5, and his ERA 1.64. And that's the 3rd time McNally is fanned. He'll probably be applauded for the strikeout. Number 1 for Bob Miller. And a hand is building for that fine little man, Don Buford. As you see, his best home run season, 19 this year. 14 stolen bases. And Buford has a great on-base percentage, Curt, .415.
That's right, and he led the American League in runs scored with 98. Very underrated player.
Is it fair or foul? It is foul. Well, in 69, Buford scored 99 runs, and last year he scored 99. This year he scored 98. what a handy man he is to have around because of his ability to play both infield positions and outfield positions. Earl Weaver is very fond of telling the story that anytime he does not put Buford's name on the lineup card, he says, well, I might just well go out and get my dirty look right now. 1 strike to Don. See whether it's in or out of play. Out of play.
Chuck, we're getting some more action now in the Pirate bullpen. Left-hander Bob Veal is loosening up.
2 strikes to Don Buford. Here is Veal. Two strikes to Don. Again out of play.
What a catch. That's the defensive play of the ball game. A one-handed, bare-handed stab in the mezzanine.
You notice that Buford, with a count 2 strikes, just kind of a saving swing, try to make contact on anything that's reasonably close. Makes it 1-2. Incidentally, Bob Miller, remarkable statistics. He has allowed only 1 home run in 99 innings this season. Matty Alou hit it August 15th, and it cost Miller a ball game. Give up 1 home run in 99 innings and lose it. 1-2 to Buford. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. And yes, he did allow another home run in the playoffs against the Giants. A fellow named Mays. Foul ball. And you had a quick look at the on-deck hitter, Merv Rettenmund, and this is John Kibler on the foul line on the right field corner. Rettenmund and Jay Mazzone. And this will be a 2-2 pitch to Buford. And left fielder Stargell perfectly positioned to make the play. 2 down. And the Orioles center fielder Merv Rettenmund. Incidentally, tonight detective partners Crook and Robinson foul up another assignment, as well as the FBI, on the partners tonight at 8/7 Central Time here on NBC. Rettenmund, a fine play by shortstop Hernandez, got him in the first inning. He homered with 2 aboard in the third and struck out in the 5th. Oh, what a grab from Bob Miller. Just a great play from Miller. 3 up and 3 down go the Orioles, and at the end of 7 complete, the score is Baltimore 5 and Pittsburgh 3. This is a big inning right here.
Yeah.
It'll be Watt and Ricketts at this stage of the ball game. At this time of the ball game, it'll be Watt and Ricketts.
Yeah, Blair's down there. Center field.
20 out. Station break.
Wait a minute, don't.
Whenever you dial an escape call, your
Blair to center.
rates are lower. So dial it yourself and save.
We have a couple of Oriole changes we'd like to tell you about, but before we do, we pause now for station identification.
This change in the Oriole outfield. Now playing center field. Batting first. Number 6, Paul Blair. Moving to...
Rettenmund goes to left field, Blair to center.
Paul Blair, the Orioles' best defensive outfielder, now is inserted in center field, and Marv Rettenham goes to left. Don Buford's out of the game. The 8th inning, and Chuck.
Gene Klein, who was fly to left, hit into a force, and an outstanding defensive play from Brooks Robinson got him in the 5th inning. Well, he was trying to stop that and committed himself. Strike one to it, Gene. McNally has now retired 15 in a row since a walk to Stargell back in the 3rd inning. Now the left fielder, Rettenmund. One gone, and now 16 in a row.
These Pirates now are starting to hit the ball deep to the outfield. They've had 4 long outfield flies the last 6 batters up, and McNally sort of lost his strikeout touch after he struck out Robertson to lead off the 6th.
Here is Roberto Clemente, who has doubled, singled, and fly to right field. Look at those statistics. And one piece of bad news for Baltimore baseball fans came from Clemente this week. Strike one. He said that his shoulder was bothering him. It kind of hurt a little bit. And he is never more dangerous a hitter than when he is hurt. Clemente was a .310 hitter in his only previous World Series in 1960. Whoops. And apparently he's all right. It didn't get him, but that was dangerously close. 1 ball, 1 strike to Roberto Clemente. Two and 1. Here's your ball and strike count and the out situation. Dave Johnson. Two away in the Pirate half of the 8th inning.
The Orioles think Johnson's the best second baseman in the American League, and they have a youngster, Bobby Grich, who they think's just as good. He led the International League and everything at Rochester. Where are they going to play him next year, Chuck?
That's the kind of a problem the Oriole management loves to face. Ball 1 to Stargell. Stargell has fanned, walked, and bounced to short. Ball 2. .48 home runs, 125 runs batted in by this powerfully built Pittsburgh outfield. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, McNally, who definitely did not have the touch in the early innings, has certainly found it through the middle. The 2-2 to start. Foul ball. And as Curt has mentioned, the proficiency, the ability to throw the curve for the strike has really helped McNally through these middle innings. And now this will be a 2-2 to Stargell. Out of play. Such a big man. He is so active, so nervous appearing in the box. But so proficient. Baltimore leading 5-3 on the top of the 8th inning. McNally with his 8th strikeout, and for 5 innings in a row, the Pirates have gone 3 up and 3 down as McNally has retired 18 in a row. At the end of 7.5, the score is Baltimore 5, Pittsburgh 3. so right. The pivotal inning is right here, as you talked about it. When they led off with a single to Clemente and a follow-up walk to Stargell, right there is where the game turned. That's where the game turned around, right there. When he muscled up and found it. Definitely.
Well, he's got three tough guys against him.
Let's go to Tony Kubek. All right, Tony disappeared momentarily, but we'll pick him up in a moment. Let's now go to the Oriole half of the 8th inning, and it'll be Boog Powell, Frank Robinson, Elrod Hendricks as two batters, to Bob Miller, who is the third Pirate hurler to work this afternoon. Dock Ellis started, went 2 1/3 innings and 4 hits. And then Moose followed him for 3 2/3 innings and 3 hits. And then Bob Miller, who has pitched but 1 inning. You watch a pattern of Pirate pitching to Powell today. He has received more than his share of off-speed pitches. 1 strike to Powell. 1-1. The Powell story this afternoon: a bounce to short, a walk, and a pop to third. Two and 1, and again an off-speed pitch from Bob Miller. Buford's solo home run in the Oriole half of the 5th inning, the last bit of scoring we've had in Game 1. 5-3 Baltimore here starting the bottom of the 8th. 3 balls and a strike to Powell. Pitch for Miller to make to Boog Powell for 3-1. Here it is. Fair ball.
Bob Robertson's a very underrated first baseman. He's solid, makes good plays around the bag, doesn't look flashy, but he does quite a job defensively at first for the Pirates.
Here is Frank Robinson in the 2nd inning. After the Pirates in the top of the inning had picked up 3 unearned runs, Frank Robinson hit a solo home run, and that kind of started the Oriole recovery. Since then, he has struck out twice. Ball 1. To Frank. Hey, Al Miller breaks a leg playing tennis and nearly puts an end to the good life tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central Time here on NBC. Nothing funny about that. Miller in his follow-through was desperately trying to, either make a play or get out of the way, and Frank Robinson's second hit. That was a kind of a line drive that you saw was bearing right in on Miller as he was coming through.
This is a high breaking pitch. Look at it, hangs right up over the plate. And Robinson wanted it.
And he might have been just a little bit ahead of it. Just didn't wait long enough. 1-out single by Frank Robinson, and now Elrod Hendricks has grounded to second, fly to right, grounded to second.
Moose and Miller have been excellent in relief here for the Pirates, Chuck.
Well, Moose 3 2/3 innings, 3 hits, and only 1 run, and that was the first base hit allowed by Bob Miller. As you take a look at Elrod Hendricks, perhaps you understand the sense of humor in the Orioles, who refer to him. His nickname is Beef. That's Frank Robinson's lead at first. Strike one. Elrod had a good series last year. He hit 364. One ball, one strike. I'm not quite certain whether Hendricks intended, a bunt or whether he was just, taking. And one out and Frank at first base. He was probably just surveying that pitch. Still, it's a tempting target off the third base side for Hendricks. 2-1. Pagan, third baseman, extremely wide of the bag. And the only minor difference with a runner at first base is the positioning of Jackie Hernandez, who would normally, with nobody on against Hendricks, be a bit to the first base side of second. Now he is a bit to the third base side. Two balls, one strike to Hendricks. Into the Pirate dugout. It's 2-2. The paid attendance in Baltimore this afternoon is 53,229 paid, and that is a sellout. Again, your runner at first, Frank Robinson. One out. And this will be a 2-2 pitch. Bob Miller to Hendricks. Miller is doing a fine job of changing speeds continually. He seldom, if ever, gives a hitter two pitches about the same speed. He's adding a little or taking a little off all of the time. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Elrod Hendricks. That's Frank Robinson leading at first base with 1 away. Again, you see that soft stuff from Miller. Hendricks got it on his thumbs, but he got a piece of it, so the count continues 2-2. The on-deck hitter for the Orioles, Brooks Robinson. And game 2 tomorrow, Jim Palmer for the Orioles, Bob Johnson for the Pirates. This one has a bit more to go. Again, a 2-2 to Hendricks. Well, let's see whether Sanguillen has a play. Not quite. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Hendricks is on his way back to check for the tar towel with Brooks Robinson. Look at the sellout crowd in Baltimore. Quite frankly, there have not been that many sellout baseball crowds in Baltimore's history. Uh-oh. Young Cash.
There was some great base running by Frank Robinson on this play. He correctly gauged that that ball would be trapped in front of Dave Cash, and he broke. A lot of players would have held for fear they'd be doubled up at first base. And Frank Robinson's alertness gets him into second. and Cash couldn't make the play on Hendricks.
Cash just a little off balance, a little off stride as he reached the ball, and I'm not sure. It appeared like it kind of hit him in the heel of the glove rather than the pocket, but the Orioles, with one away now, have Frank Robinson at second base, Hendricks at first base, and here is Brooks Robinson. He has fly to center, bounced to the mound, and singled. Ball one. Activity in that Pirate bullpen. A lot of activity from this predominantly Oriole crowd. 1-1 to Brooks. Bob Miller, the third Pirate hurler of the game, and here is Bob Veal. Big, strong southpaw. See if Pagan has a play. He had it, and it was not an easy play.
Sanguillen had to go down and cover third base. But both the shortstop and the third baseman over for the foul ball. You see Sanguillen coming back now. He was very alertly down there.
Oriole scouting reports on Sanguillen, Kurt, dictate that he might well be the best catcher in baseball. Here is Johnson, hitless in 3 trips. Line to the pitcher, fly to right and to left. Two out now. Frank Robinson at second, Hendricks at first. Out of play.
We have an odd sight out on the Baltimore bullpen right now. 3 pitchers are warming up. 2 right-handers, Pat Dobson, Eddie Watt, and a left-hander, Pete Rickard. 3 warm-up pitchers. You don't see that very often.
How often do you find a 20-game winner in the bullpen? Uh-oh. Nope, he did not get it. Johnson reaches.
Now here it is, just by the pitcher. Miller had fallen off balance. An excellent player by Cash, but not in time. And one of those bang-bang plays at first base, so the Orioles have the bases loaded.
And a chance, Kurt, to do something that isn't done as often as it should be. Compliment the umpire on an outstanding call, just as close as it could be, and he was right as rain. Now Belanger with the bases loaded. And 2 out.
Number 7, Belanger.
And every man now is hit safely in the Baltimore lineup except Powell and McNally.
Belanger has singled, tripled, and grounded to second base. The situation. Everywhere you look an Oriole. Frank Robinson third, Elrod Hendricks second, and Johnson at first. Veal in the bullpen for the Pirates. And a 1-ball count to Belanger. And it should be handled by Hernandez. There's the force that ends the inning. So at the end of 8 complete innings, the score is Baltimore 5 and Pittsburgh 3. Well, let me see now. We've got right-handed, right-handed, right-handed.
Bus number 512 will be located on Raymond Boulevard.
Now, a word on behalf of Major League Baseball. William Howard Taft was the first president to throw out the first ball in a season opener. But the distinction of being the first president to toss out the first ball in a World Series goes to Woodrow Wilson in 1914. 5 other presidents have attended World Series games, and the president attended the most, Calvin Coolidge. Now, here we go now, and Dave McNally, Chuck, had quite a spell in the dugout. It was a long last half of the 8th inning. Let's see if it affected him any.
Well, here is Robertson, who has walked and struck out twice against Dave McNally. Strike one. Sometimes that long rest, can be harmful. He can stiffen up. And, of course, there are times when it's the proper kind of a recess to finish a ball game. 1 strike to Robertson. Robertson, Sanguillen, and Pagan are the 2 batters. One and one. Foul ball. This is a 1-2 pitch to Bob Robertson. Booth this afternoon. Our most grateful thanks to Alan Roth and Jim O'Gorman for their outstanding statistical help. 2-2. Well, Blair, Rettenmund, Belanger. Let's see. It'll be the outfielder Rettenmund. And McNally is now retired 19 in a row. The last man to reach for the Pirates, Willie Stargell, in the 3rd inning, and he walked. And at no time this year has McNally fanned as many batters as he has fanned this afternoon. His previous strikeout high was 7, and already he has 8. Manny Sanguillen, who is 0 for 3, has scored a run. Belanger's got the hurry. And Powell could not come up with it, and Sanguillen reaches.
Belanger knew Sanguillen could run. He unloaded that ball in a hurry. Made a bad throw to first. Well, there's the first man for the Pirates to reach base, and Stargell walked in the 3rd. That's been scored an error all the way on Belanger. That's the 3rd Baltimore error of this game. The Pirates are errorless.
And that error and the reach of Sanguillen puts quite a different complexion on McNally's effort now as he faces Jose Pagan, who is 0 for 3. Ball 1. Pagan has bounced to the mound, fly to left, and grounded to 3rd. It's Sanguillen at second base. 1 out. Top of the 9th. Baltimore 5. Pittsburgh 3. Tying run right there at the plate in the person of Pagan. Right fielder Frank Robinson is calling for it. 2 down. And Hernandez is the scheduled batter, but we will get a pinch swinger. Looks like it'll be Oliver. Al Oliver. The story on Oliver this year is pretty good reading. He was a .282 hitter in 143 games with 14 home runs and 64 runs batted in.
Oliver finished the season very strong. He was probably the Pirates' hottest hitter the last month. In fact, he hit .328 in his last 33 games. Mazeroski's already hit, so the Pirates had one right-handed pinch hitter left. That was Gene Alley. For Murtaugh goes with a left-hander, Oliver, instead.
And as we mentioned at the outset of the telecast, one of the reasons for the start of a left-hander was to keep a man like this, Al Oliver, on the bench. And here he is. Ball one. Seasoned veteran. He's had this pressure, has felt it many times, as Dave McNally. Ball two. So there is no let up on the pressure to Baltimore's Dave McNally. 2 out. Sanguillen, the runner at second. 2-1. To the pinch hitter, Al Oliver. 2-2.
McNally's had a good live fastball today. Been very quick all afternoon.
Now the 2-2 pitch to Al Oliver. The game is over. The Orioles are victorious in the first game of the 1971 series. In the top of the ninth inning for the Pittsburgh Pirates, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on. The final score, it's the Orioles 5 and the Pirates 3.
Pitches a 3-hitter, and I'm not even aware of it. You know?
Yeah.
It's going to be a long fill until 28:40. We'll do about...
I'll follow whatever you people.
Up there.
2, 4, 5.
He's coming right out. Talk about your hit.
All right. Okay.
All right.
All right, let's go down right now and Tony Kubek.
With me down on the field today's winning pitcher, Dave McNally. And Dave, I've talked to you after ball games before World Series victories, and we always had a couple of things to talk about. Your pitching plus your hitting. Today, your hitting was awful.
Well, I'm trying to set him up for next time, Tony. I didn't even foul tip the ball today, I don't think.
You know, it was kind of a struggle for you in the early innings. Your defense, which is very unusual, got you in a little bit of difficulty, but you seemed to get your stuff as you went along.
Right, well, we all fell apart in the second inning. I lost my control and was missing the strike zone by a couple of feet, and then we made a few errors, and then after that, my control came back, and I was throwing the ball darn near I wanted to almost every pitch, and I just got a little more confidence as it went along.
You know, today was a season high for you in strikeouts. I think you had about 9, which is unusual. Strikeout 7 was your high previously.
9's a career for me.
9 is a career. Let me ask you this, Dave, about scouting reports. I sat in on meetings where scouting reports in World Series play all-star games. How much stock do you put in scouting reports? I know Whitey Ford, for instance, had his pitching pattern, and he stuck with it. Did you vary at all in your pitching pattern today?
I varied somewhat, but I mostly went by what Tom Dukes and Pat Dobson and Grant Jackson and Dalrymple could tell me, because they played against these guys, and I'm not taking away from our scouts at all, but they see him for a limited amount of time, and they may see him in a funny rut of some kind, and I just went mostly by what they knew about these guys.
You say your best pitch today was your fastball. I've never seen you quite that fast. It looked like some of the Pirate hitters were quite surprised. It looked like they were looking for breaking ball, and the fastball was by them.
Well, I had a good fastball for me today, and I was able to move it in and out real well, and I was trying to turn it over and run it away from him when I got 2 strikes, and I was working real well, and then I was trying to get inside a lot with it, and my breaking ball, my curveball was pretty sharp today, too, so they were kind of complementing each other.
You know, Dave, one thing, and this is about Frank Robinson, your great field leader, I think. It seemed when you were down 3-0 and things looked bad, and all of a sudden he comes up, the first hitter up, whammo, home run, and it seems like you guys got rejuvenated and came right back on strong.
Right, he's done it many times for us, Tony. He just has been leading us ever since he got here in 1966, and it's things like that, as you know, that it takes to get a ball club back in a ball game. When you're down 3-0, you do get in the dumps a little bit, and it takes a while to struggle back, but he got us right back in there, or closer anyway, real quick, and it does help us out quite a bit.
Dave, let me ask you one more quick question, and it's about this Pittsburgh Pirate team. Again, scouting reports, what you did see of them on TV, and of course in spring training. How would you evaluate this ball club? Would you compare it to any other team in the American League, for instance?
Well, Tony, I really can't do that after one ball game, but I know guys like Clemente and those guys all hit 300. Clemente didn't hit 340 of a lifetime. He's not a good hitter. And, I mean, they can all swing the bat, and they swung the bat well today, and they hit some balls hard that were outs. But I just have to keep throwing strikes at them. Hope they hit it at somebody, which they did.
Dave McNally, congratulations once again. Good ball game.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Dave McNally. Let's go back upstairs.
Okay. And again, the final score, Baltimore 5, Pittsburgh 3. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game. Well, this game turned around in the third inning. That was the key of the game, as the Pirates came up with 3 runs in the top of the second when Baltimore made 2 errors. All 3 runs were unearned. Baltimore trailing 3-0. Frank Robinson hit a home run to lead off the last of the second to make it 3-1. Then, in the top of the third, Clemente single and Stargell walk. Warm-up action in the Baltimore bullpen. They had McNally on the ropes. He was wild. However, he settled down, struck out Robertson, Sanguillen, got Pagan on a fly ball. They let him get away. He retired 21 out of the last 22 batters he's faced. As inning by inning, he became better during this game. McNally's complete record, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. He didn't walk a man after the third, 1 wild pitch, and he pitched a brilliant 3-hitter in this game. And the Orioles had the home run bats working today. Robinson, Redmond, a 3-run homer, and Don Buford, a home run. Dock Ellis, the starter, was the loser, followed by Moose and Miller out of the Pirate bullpen. But I definitely say that it was the third inning that did it for Baltimore with the gutty pitching of Dave McNally, Chuck.
Unquestionably, Curt, that was the turning point of the ball game. And as we said earlier this afternoon, McNally is not the kind of a pitcher who beats himself. You've got to go out there and beat him, and McNally was right on the ropes. The Pirates had him, to all intents and purposes, out of the ball game, but he muscled up and got the strikeouts to Robertson and Sanguillen, and from there on out, McNally was as good as McNally can be. And the Pirate bullpen came on and did a very good job in relief of Dock Ellis, allowing the Orioles but 1 run. But McNally this afternoon is, the story of the ball game defensively for Baltimore.
The Orioles are supposed to be better defensively, yet they made 3 errors today. The Pirates didn't make an error. And Belanger made 2 of those, the other error made by the catcher Hendricks. So all the Pirate runs were unearned. 5-3, Baltimore. And we're going down to Tony again for a guest on the field. Tony?
Thank you. With me down in the field, the home run sluggers today for the Baltimore Orioles. To my immediate left, Merv Rettenman, and Frank Robinson to his left. Merv, let me speak to you first. This guy right here has been the team leader on this ball club for I don't know how many years, and he got you back on the right track again today, didn't he?
Well, that's nothing new for Frank. He always seems to come through with a big hit at the right time. He's a heck of a ball player, probably the best I've ever seen, and a heck of a gentleman, too.
Then let me ask you this about Dock Ellis. You said you batted against him in the minor leagues. He was a little bit different pitcher today, wasn't he?
Completely different than what I expected, Tony. In the minors, I faced him, and he threw the ball extremely hard. Today, he went with the breaking ball just about all the time. He tried to move the ball down and in with sinkers and then throw all sliders away.
What did you hit off him for your home run?
A high slider, and I'm sure that he didn't want to throw it there.
Merv, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to talk to this big guy right here for a second. Thank you. Congratulations. Frank, I don't know what to tell you. Every time I see you, you're hitting a home run or doing something great in the ball game, and this team here with Baltimore is just something else. Aside from all the ability they have, pitching-wise, defense, the power, etc., they've got something else that most teams don't have. Maybe you can explain it for us.
Well, actually, Tony, it's hard to explain. I know when you say this, it might sound like it bragging or something, but this team has togetherness. What I mean by that is no one individual that tries to carry the ball club. We know what we can do and what we can't do, and we do the little things or do whatever we have to do to try to help the ball club win a ball game that day. If it's mean hitting the ball behind the run and move him up, we'll do that. Mean trying to hit a home run, we'll try to do that. But we know that 2 or 3 individuals are not going to carry this ball club. We don't try to carry the ball club, and we just do what we have to do and just peck along and get a run here and there. And this ball club is just great together. We know it, as I say, we're tremendous on the field together as a unit and also off the field. It's just a lot of togetherness here and a lot of good feeling on this ball club.
Frank, game number 1's over. It's in your back pocket now, but you've seen this Pittsburgh Pirate team before when you were over in the National League and, of course, spring training. You know what Clemente can do. You know what Stargell can do. That's a great ball club, a great hitting team, isn't it?
That's no doubt about it, Tony. We knew that coming into this series, and we still know that going into the second ball game, although we're 1 up. We're not going to let up. We're going to try to keep this ball club down and win the next one tomorrow. And we know Stargell can hit, Clemente can hit. We know Bob Robertson can hit. We know this whole ball club can hit, and they're dangerous, and we're just trying to keep them away from the big inning. And as I say, hold them down, and because we know we're going to score some runs.
Frank, your manager, Earl Weaver, and of course, he's won over 300 ball games with this ball club, and everybody says, well, he's got all the material. How can we vote a manager of the year? He's got everything going for him, but I know you've got some words about that man, your manager.
Well, Tony, there's no doubt about it. He has to be the overall greatest manager that I've ever played for. He gets the most out of every individual on the ball club. I don't mean the 8 or 9 players that are playing that day. I mean the 25 ball players on that ball club. He keeps them loose, keeps them free, gets them in every ball game he can get them in, and he just seems to have that winning attitude. He won't let us relax. He won't let us rest on tomorrow, yesterday's game or whatever. He keeps us going and keeps us going, and he's just, as you say, he's a winning player, a manager. And I say this, you know, it's easy to have the talent, but you have to keep winning with that talent. It's very easy to lose and you're a bum. But he seems to have the talent here, sure, but he keeps winning with it. He just won't let us relax.
Frank, very quickly, tomorrow's starting pitcher for the Pirates, scheduled to be Bob Johnson. What do you know about him?
Well, Bob Johnson was at Kansas City last year, and he pitched 2 fine ball games against us, 1 in relief and 1 that he started. He throws real hard, those 3 quarters. He throws real hard. He has a real hard slider, and he tries to keep the ball out away from him with the slider and the fastball in. I know that he probably changed a little bit over the National League, but we look for him to pitch the same way, and we feel like if we can hit strikes, we can beat him or win the ball game tomorrow. But he throws the ball real good.
Frank, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Frank Robinson, the acknowledged team leader of the Baltimore Orioles. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, the batting stars in this game. Clemente had 2 hits, 2 of the 3 hits for the Pirates. Of course, Rettman's 3-run homer, Buford's home run and single. Frank Robinson had a home run and single. Brooks Robinson had a single. Down at the bottom of the order, Belanger a single and triple. The only men who didn't hit safely for Baltimore were Boog Powell and Dave McNally. The Orioles now have won 15 games in a row. Last year, their streak reached 17 until the Reds beat them in Game 4 of the World Series. And tomorrow's pitcher, Jim Palmer, won the opening game of the World Series last year, and he also pitched a shutout in the World Series of '66 against the Dodgers. Palmer, when he's right, Chuck, can be the most overpowering pitcher on your staff, can he?
Well, I think it's been said about Jim Palmer that, you know, he ought to win 30 games every year. I don't know whether that's a fair statement to make about the young man, but he has great potential. He has the outstanding fastball and the outstanding curveball, and when Palmer can get the curveball over, Palmer then is one of the very best pitchers in all of baseball, if he can get the curveball over.
Bob Johnson was disappointing during the season, but was brilliant in the playoffs against the San Francisco Giants. And with a right-hander going for Baltimore, we'll undoubtedly see Hebner and Oliver, 2 excellent left-handed hitters, back in the Pirate lineup tomorrow. So again, 5-3, McNally a 3-hitter, stronger as the ball game went on, and 40 times the team that's won the opening game has gone on to win the World Series. 27 times it hasn't worked out. This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. Curt Gowdy, Chuck Thompson, Tony Kubek bid you goodbye from Baltimore. Game 1 of the 1971 World Series has been brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. Extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. By Gillette Platinum Plus. With platinum smooth edges for smoother shave, you'll feel the difference. And by Phillips 66, the performance company. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts. 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow. World Series report with Joe Garagiola and Sandy Koufax. And then the second game of the World Series, followed by professional football, Oakland against Denver. Right here on NBC.